Why is everything so damn expensive? 4 years ago, my rent was $1,200 a month at a luxury apartment complex. It is now $2,100, not even including utilities. I went to the grocery store yesterday, right? And got 3 bags of chips, some ground turkey, and some vegetables. And it was $67! What? My car insurance from 4 years ago until now, with no tickets, no wrecks, no nothing on my driver's record, has gone from $130 to $240 per month. 3 years ago, my electric bill was averaging $45. Now it's averaging $125.
He's not wrong.
You go and get a tank of gas once a week, and you're dropping $70. I mean, a guy can't even buy a can of dip for less than $8. $8 for a can of dip? What the?
Welcome to Trimble Dividends, where we empower you to make good financial decisions. Something that I've been thinking about lately is the question, right? What is the true cost of living in a world where economic growth is prioritized over sustainability and well-being? And I thought I'd break this up into a couple of different parts here. But I think the biggest thing that I'm thinking about is our economy, right? Our economy in the state of 2024. This is January when I'm recording this. I do track what the economy is doing. I track Fed, inflation, basically the American dream. One thing I've noticed, and I'm not alone in noticing that, is that wages have stagnated, right? When you look at the cost of college, the ever increasing cost of childcare, pet care, going to the grocery store, right? Just the other day, I heard somebody saying that the true buying groceries, spending like $200 is not what it was. Like the cart is barely full. It's about a third compared to what you could get 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, pre-pandemic. I think people out here are really hurting. And the thing that I'm not really understanding or hearing from politicians, local government, state government is like, what is the solution? Is it really a matter of greedflation, right? Is it really the companies trying to raise prices just because they can, or is there something deeper, right? I know that the interest rates for houses are currently at 8%, and people out there, right, they're not buying because if they were lucky enough to lock in a house at around 2% interest, what incentive is it for them to pick up and move? Is it a return to work? Well, people are basically saying stuff that, right? They bought a house and it would be economically difficult for them to pack up and move. And then the other thing I think about is our technology, our advancement. Everyone was really excited about working remotely, and I know there were hints and rumblings in 2022, 2023 about return to office. Is it really going to be the way it was pre-pandemic? I don't know, because again, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Many people did take advantage of working remotely, and they were able to buy a house for a very discounted interest rate. These were historic lows. So if you could get the house, you got the house. But now, right, with these mandates, the employees are saying, I cannot afford to move, right? The other pickle we're in is that if you were to buy a house, can you even afford to pay all of the bills, all of the expenses that come with the newer percentage rates, right? I think we're at 8%, 7%. Maybe they're talking about getting it down to 6%. We'll see what the market does. I'm waiting to see what Jerome Powell does. But again, can you even afford to pay the rent at that price? That's the real question no one's asking, right? One thing we're seeing is, right, your insurance is going up. Many insurers for houses and mortgages, right, they're exiting the markets at increasingly scary rates. You've seen what's going on with Florida, where many people in Florida, their insurance rates have gone up 50%. And as a result, some of the retirees and people who are on fixed incomes are having to leave their houses, right? And again, at the same time, Are your wages going up? Well, again, if you talk to the average person on the street and you are paying attention to TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, they're telling a very different story than what the economy is telling us. So this leads to the disappearing middle class, right? We know that if you ask anybody what class they are, I think they'll all say they are middle class because it is the nice thing to say, right? And that's the way it was for me growing up, right? We're middle class. My neighbors are middle class. The person across the street is middle class. But are they really middle class, right? When you look at the average median income, I think that we're seeing these rates. If you're making $40,000 and that's just one person and you have one kid, right? That's going to eat into a lot of your money. You got to think about the cost of living in America. It is expensive, right? This is not a cheap country to live in at all. You've got health care, you've got your car payment, you've got your rent, you've got your mortgage, you've got groceries. And like I said before, these prices are not going down, they are only going up. So I see that there is an increasing widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. And what this is going to do, I think it's going to have some type of rippling or compounding effect, right? If you have an entire class or a really large swath of the population not being able to buy goods outside of the bare necessities, right? What impact is going to have on all of the luxury spending that we do, right? Does that mean you're not going to go to the movies as much? Does it mean you're not going to take that vacation that you want to go to because you've got to pay the bills? Does it mean that you're going to keep your existing car longer because you don't want to pay a $1,000 a month or $700 a month car note, right? So these things will have compounding effects. And then definitely inflation, right? We've been hearing that inflation. And like I said, just going to the grocery store, I don't see these prices really coming down, even though you might hear little trinkets of news here and there. It says prices of groceries are going down or cars going down. Well, I'm really not seeing that, right? I'm only seeing prices go up. And this might be anecdotal in my market, but again, I see the same thing all over the web, right? In the newspaper, on social media, and everyone's doing all these things where they're actually taking pictures of the groceries and saying, this is what $50 of groceries looks like. This is what $100 of groceries looks like, right? Why would you do that unless you were trying to compare or just talk about what you get? So I think that the thread is starting to unravel. So I'd love to get your thoughts. And what are you seeing in your part of the country, of the world? Is this an American phenomenon or is this across the globe? I am genuinely curious. So put your answers in the comments below. And then the other thing it's got me thinking about is we do have it pretty good here, but I think times like these make us really want to be frugal, right? And that means we got to tighten the belt in response to these economic pressures. And I think many people are trying to really stretch their money in order to buy groceries. Like I said, they're putting off high-ticket purchases, trying to make do with what they have. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think when it comes to living frugally, this is the path to wealth. It doesn't make sense to buy a new car every 6 years, which is the average for the average American, every 6 to 7 years. And this one habit will definitely keep you poor and keep you in debt. So again, I think there are other things that we can do. Learn how to cook, right? I do see that there is an increasingly a big amount of young people who are spending a lot of money, right? A lot of their income on things like DoorDash or Uber Eats. And one thing about them is that they certainly hike up the prices, right? They have to make a profit, but you almost pay twice the amount of money to get something delivered as if you were to go and pick it up and take it back yourself. I know some young people who don't cook and they get DoorDash 2 to 3 times a week. Now, imagine if you were to invest that money in some type of stock, your IRA, your 401k, savings account, emergency, right? And learn to cook at home. It's pretty easy. It's pretty cheap to make a sandwich, right? It's pretty inexpensive to learn how to make soup, right? When you go grocery shopping, you can buy in bulk if you can. In fact, one thing I saw that was pretty wild, I have to get a picture of it, was my grocery store was, it had something called the stretch zone. And this scheme was basically for $10, you could buy 10 things to make your money or your groceries stretch longer. And like, I was kind of shocked that they're actually advertising this. So if it gets that far, then I think it is a big deal. But basically, you could buy meat, bread, vegetables, fruit, eggs, like dairy. And if you bought 10 things, they would come down to about $1 each. So I was actually kind of surprised. I think it's a great idea, but it also made me think that with these grocery stores who are already on pretty thin margins, that they're having to react again because consumers, neighbors are talking. They're talking about the cost of goods. And another thing, right, is the housing market. It is unattainable for many people, for the average person. And that is a shame because the biggest financial vehicle or instrument to wealth building in America, at least, is home ownership, right? You buy a home, you save up, you scrimp, you save, you put the down payment, and then over time you're able to pull out equity and then use that as an asset, right? That you can pull from when you need to, right? You can use it to extract money out for future home purchases, and then you can rinse and repeat over time, right? The tax situation in this country, it's built for businesses, it's built for the business owner, it's built for developers, right? It's not built for the 9-to-5 employee. So again, think about that. And now with home inventories not being what they were, home prices are predicted to again stay high because these builders are building houses for a market that doesn't have money to buy them. And then what does that mean? Well, that means that you are going to be a permanent renter. And that does something to many people, right? They want to be able to build wealth. They want to be able to transfer something down to their family. And if they can do it, it does have lasting ramifications upon society. So it's something that I've been thinking about, right? So we'll see. And one thing that I would say is that it doesn't take much to get that emergency fund, right, when times are hard, so that when these life situations happen, you won't have to be as reactive because you will have a plan for it, right? You never know what the next day is going to bring, but you can plan, right? You can plan for disaster. You can plan for life's unexpected events. You don't want to have your next car breakdown set you back months on end, right? This is not to be a doom and gloom video. This is a video to help you plan and to help you prepare and to help you be financially responsible, right? This is the times when we need to rely on our friends and our family to help get us through, right? It's not the end, right? This could be your beginning. So this is my reminder, like this is the reality for the working class. If you like this video and you got value of it, I would love for you to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment, right? What resonated with you? What stands out? And what is your plan for navigating these economic challenges? I would love to know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.